exit strategy. Please like, subscribe, share, pass it on if you believe someone else will benefit from it. I'd appreciate that. I just wanted to pop in to say it's going to be a new year here in a few hours, but it's going to be the same narcissists out here in the world. But in that, we have awakened and renewed empaths going forward. We need to just really be grateful and thankful for that going forward. So we have new opportunities and different things that we can look forward towards. While the narcissist is looking for the same old opportunities that they have gotten in the past, but it's becoming very scarce because the information is out here. Is just so much information about this disorder and the behavior patterns. And to be honest with you, people are just sick and tired of foolishness. There's enough to deal with financial woes from the inflation. People overwork, underpaid, the stresses of life, because we're in a technological age where whether we like it or not, we have began to live in a pace faster than a lot of us even want to go. But if we don't live in this certain pace, we will, lose sight of how to actually just cohabitate on this earth. Take, for example, the cell phone. There are a few people that still have home landlines. Very few people, even the elderly, have come to the point where they just don't see the sense in it. But I can remember a time when you had to wait until you got home to use the phone, and you had to ask the adults to use it. You couldn't just get on the phone without asking adults. Can you imagine going back to those times? Never again. But I use that as an emphasis because there's so many things going on as far as how we do our financial transactions. Take Venmo and Cash App, for example. I was hard pressed to get the apps for a while, but now I kind of live by them because it's instant. You don't have to go chase people down for money. You just say, hey, put it on the app. That being said, though, that comes with a consequence, and it comes with a drawback. Obviously, it's traceable and different things like that. But even more so, this is just one more way that the narcissist can kind of get in with you. In conversation, they would probably say, I'll send you some money on Cash App or Venmo. A lot of these things are interconnected. Say your Facebook account is interconnected with WhatsApp and different things like that. Snapchat. I don't know if people even still do Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram. We all use these avenues of internet to interact. And even here, YouTube, we're doing what we got to do to get the word out about these demons. But my bigger point to all of this is guard your energy, guard your privacy, guard your personal affairs when people are just so eager to do things such as get your personal information. And this is how narcissists will do it. Unbeknownst to you, it'll start with them trying to gift you something, say a birthday party. They will say, okay, I left my wallet. I'll just Cash App. I'll just Venmo you something. And, send me a request or whatever. Little do you know they have access to you. And you may say, well, that's just my Cash App. That's just my Venmo. This is what starts the ball rolling because they've done something for you. And whenever a narcissist does something for you, they're going to hover and hang around until you become pliable, until you, unbeknownst to yourself, begin to just give them a little more leeway. And before you know it, they're exchanging numbers with you. And thereby they can interact with you from a distance Just like on here on YouTube and on lives, we have people that'll come in and they'll give snide comments because behind the screen you can do anything. Hey, Yay Martinez, uh, welcome. So be careful about these internets. Whereas you're exchanging your cash apps, Venmos, because this new year coming in, you're going to have these demons. They want to come in, drink wine, uh, propose a toast. They just want to be a part of this new year coming in. But you and I, we're looking at it differently. It's a camaraderie. It's a coming together and taking out the old and in with the new. Hey, Joseph D, talking about guarding your energy, guarding your Venmos, your Cash Apps, different things. Narcissists will try to get in and get leverage on you. And so when they get your phone numbers and they get these different things, these Cash Apps and Venmos, they're interconnected to Instagram and different things like that. And this is how the narcissist tracks you. You enjoy your day too, Rashawn. Thank you. Appreciate you. Just want you guys to really just enjoy the old year going out and, looking back at some things that you did or you didn't do in 2025 and not really measure your life by calendar years, but do look forward towards new opportunities and just give God thanks for being awakened in 2025. It's up from here. We only going up from here. To have this knowledge and insight about these, how are you doing, KN OPET? The thing is, you have to just be grateful for the thing of being awakened. So anything is possible now that you're not in a daze, you're not in a fog. You can see a lot of things clearer than you did before. You're not going to be able to eradicate narcissists and narcissistic personality disorder. That's not really predominantly what our duty is here on earth. Our duty here on earth just to be the light, to be the light. And see, darkness has no affiliation with light. Since I've been awakened, I don't believe there's been any narcissists that have wholeheartedly hoodwinked me that I didn't know or perceive that they were narcissists. However, I got involved with a few entanglements thereafter, shortly thereafter my awakening, because you're going through your awakening. When you awaken, you see and you know what you know, but there's still more knowing and more seeing to be had. And so 6 years later, there is still a lot to be seen, a lot to be heard, a lot to be educated on, because narcissists are running out of tactics. They are running out of con games because people are paying attention now. We're not eager to just give our phone numbers to people. At least you shouldn't be. And to be honest with you, I think you can go on the internet and actually get someone's phone number. So that's not a big deal there. But I'm saying to the point, you don't just straightway give your information to people who want to exchange Cash Apps, Venmos, talking about, I don't have any money. I was going to get you a birthday present. Let me do this. Especially if you're reading their energy and their energy is not cohesive with yours. You got to pass on that kind of stuff. Just say, don't worry about it. Because this is how they snoop around and they stalk you and they monitor you. So in 2026, pay attention to this type of stuff and this type of behavior, how the narcissists, they will try to monitor you from behind closed doors, from behind the computer, from behind the phone screen. And the information that you're giving off on Facebook, minimize that, guys. Don't give a lot of information on Facebook. I mean, don't share a lot of the good times on Facebook. Don't post that stuff. This is a year that we become stealth, stoic, and a little more discretionary. Make the narcissist wonder what you're doing. Make them work for trying to destroy you. Most often they get tired and they don't want to. They don't want to go through it. They want easy targets, and there are a lot of easy targets out here. They have their mindset on destruction, and they will continue to have their mindset on destruction. So they're standing around those well-meaning people right now, chopping it up, seemingly waiting on the new year to come in, trying to take in the festivity with healthy people. They're blending in. And somewhere right now, a narcissist is going to capitalize on this new year. And this is a day where they're going to recruit, and it's kind of like they're throwing a net out there and see how many fish they can get. I bet you they're running around in a bar somewhere, gathering numbers, everybody's phone numbers. And the people are getting drunk and getting a little tipsy, loosening up a little bit. See, this is how narcissist hovers around this place, these type of places where your inhibitions are lower. In bars, parties, gatherings, where there's a whole bunch of things going on, where you're not focusing on them as much as they're fixated on you, the target. You somehow surmised, even when you were unawakened, that this person was moving around in the bar a lot. And you just said, man, subconsciously, you was like, man, they're just like, they're really trying to get attention. That's a sign. They can't sit their ass down. They can't casually mingle and mangle. And this is a sure giveaway that this person might be starving for attention. Now, everybody who does that doesn't mean that they're altogether a narcissist. They could be tanked up and hyperactive and just caught in the moment. But they're a combination of cues. You watch this cue and you start to pay attention. If you and a few other people are in conversation and they come in and hijack the conversation and divert to something else that's totally unrelated, whereas they're trying to draw attention to themselves, this is another cue. They're self-absorbed, self-centered. Then whatever their conversation begins to be, if it's an ego-centric type conversation where they're being very grandiose, they're talking about all of their accomplishments, they're trying to trump everything that anybody else has to say, and they're elevating their self. They're magnifying all of their accomplishments, patting themselves on the back. This is another cue. And pay attention to when they're met with a little bit of light criticism or somebody disagrees with them. Watch how their facial expressions or their body language shifts. Now, I know Awakened, we pretty much have adopted this type of insight to where we sit and we casually, these things pop out to us. But you all who are out there that are still invested in some people that you know are very toxic, start paying attention to these type of cues that I just named. I've named about 4, but it goes on and on. And what the thing is, when you see one cue, most often 2 or 3 or 4 are going to follow. And even if you can't determine if they're a narcissist, at the very least, you know that this person cannot be still. You know they are a busybody. Why would you try to enlist or recruit or pledge allegiance for that particular type of person to be in your friend circle? That's the type of friend you don't need. You can do without that type of friend. And that's another thing going into 2026, guys. You're going to have to limit access to yourself. Because awaken, guys, even 6 years into this awakenness, I really, there's a lot of work I need to do on me. I'm looking at a whole life of things I lived through that I'm having to unlearn and relearn, in the sense of some of the things that I perceived from people who were in my close circle, family, friends, um, instances where I went through things in my life where I was guilt tripping myself, blaming myself, not taking or taking accountability for other people's mess. And so it's actually just getting rid of the mental baggage of and processing it, obviously processing it in a healthy way, and then getting rid of it, bagging it up and tossing it away, as I progressively try to move forward in my life. So there's a lot of things that I need to emphasize as far as my own life goes. I don't have a lot of time to make new friends. I believe God wants me to just elevate myself in a way where I'm useful to this world, in a real way. Because the churches are not doing it. They're not going to do it. Churches are concerts, rock concerts, comedy shows. I remember when I was going to church, and this is nothing against believers. I'm talking about the shish show in most churches. It's always a whole list of things on the itinerary to keep people interested in the church. I'll mention someone who I used to, uh, whose church I used to be a partaker of, Dr. John MacArthur. And I know a lot of people may think what they will about him, and you got that right. Everybody has a perspective. But me personally, I'm speaking to me. I believe John MacArthur was a pretty solid pastor. He preached on a lot of things, or he taught on a lot of things that most people wouldn't go near today. They massage people's feelings. They don't talk about certain offenses against God that are pretty uh, cut and dry. You know, he talks about murderers, slanderers, backbiters, envious, covetousness, um, you know, slandering uh, other men and going around sleeping with other men's wives and other wives' husbands. And he spoke about a lot of things that I believe we're living in right now. Politics, for example. He spoke about how uh, government will actually rule over the churches. And all of this it's just a repeat. Like God said, there's nothing new under the sun. What is, has been, and will be again. What we're living in right now, we don't know that well, actually, we do if we look in the Bible. That's all it was. Government ruled Christians then. You did what they said do. They didn't respect your faith. They didn't respect faith then. They crucified the Christ. But that had nothing to do with the fact that he came and did what he had to do. And just like you and I, chosen one, we have to finish the work, man. We got to finish the work, open people's eyes. And if you never set foot in a church, I would implore you, basically open the Bible and just start reading it. Just like you do a love novel. Some of you guys got 100 love novels, 100 suspense novels in your collection. Add that Bible to your collection. It's a beautiful piece of poetry. It's a beautiful instruction manual. It's a beautiful get you out of hell free card. And it definitely points uh, a vivid finger at the narcissist when it talks about the Jezebel spirit. Satan was a narcissist. Satan was a narcissist. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I do hope you guys have a very uneventful new year. If you're hanging out, uh, you know, having a hearty laugh or two with friends and loved ones and associates, having a few drinks, having a few laughs, talking about some memories, bringing in the new year. I hope everything goes well and everything is safe for you guys. But just keep your head on the swivel, because narcissists come to steal, kill, and destroy, and that's their only agenda. And they too will be partakers in these type of events. And after the new year tonight, there won't be any more holidays for a few weeks. And so the thing with that is, maybe even a few months, but the thing with that is, you have to understand, this is how they're going to insulate themselves tonight. They're going to implement themselves in someone's memory or a group of people. They're going to make themselves a night to remember. They're going to make sure you remember you brought the new year in with them in your presence. And I guarantee you, this is what they're doing. This is recruiting time today for them, as is every holiday. This is when they go out like scouts, athletic scouts that are going to recruit college kids going into the pros, high school kids, they go and scout potential high school kids to go into potential colleges. This is what a narcissist does when they are going into these interactions in these events where there's festive camaraderie, happiness, laughs. They're not in it like you are. They're not. And I would also employ you guys to limit your outings like that. If you're going out and doing those type of things, limit your time there. Show your face and get out of there. To linger around doesn't make any sense. I told you, a narcissist will dress up just to go to Walmart and return a 50-cent item to start an argument. That is the epitome of how petty they are. They like chaos. And although tonight is the bringing in a new year for you and I, looking towards the new year and putting old things behind us, I kind of like that for what that is. But tonight, narcissists far and wide are looking for prey. They're looking for victims. They're looking for new year supply. So keep that in mind, guys. Well, that's all the time. I'm going back and binge on me some more education. Then I'll be going to bed to get my rest. I've been a little bit under the weather. Got a little bit of salt in this eye here. I was tossing salt for the snow, and I think some got in my eye. It's a little bit swollen, as you can see. I've been putting saline solution in. It should be fine. Happens every year, I think. But that's not the reason why I got the hoodie on. I'm just kind of toasty in here right now. It's warm in the house, and I'm just felt like I wanted to cuddle up under the hoodie. So all my subscribers, all the ones who tune in and listen to me, man, I wish you guys a very, very healthy, happy, holy new year. Go be great. That being said, bless.